Metro. They are ranked number 3 overall in South Jersey. They have the top 1-2 punch of running backs at Cape Atlantic League schools in senior Quasine Townsell and sophomore Jada Byers. And they're coached by the guy who's won more football games than any coach in South Jersey history. So Ocean City has its work cut out for it. The Raiders come in with a 5-game winning streak, and should they pull off the upset tonight, they will share the division title in the West Jersey Football League with St. Joe and Cedar Creek.
You know, Tom, we've been anticipating this game at least for the last couple of weeks, and Ocean City's really had a great season up to now. We talked a lot about the line, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, really setting the tone, and the running of Feifel, and they just really had a great season. Tonight will be a test. There's no question about it. I mean, St. Joe is the creme de creme, so to speak, and they're going to, I'm sure that the Red Raiders are going to be up for the game, and I'm anxious to see how well they fare against a team that's as top quality as the St. Joe Wildcats are year in and year out, and once again this year, no surprise, as you said, they got some stud players, and they certainly have a stud coach.
People get confused when you speak French.
Is that French, creme de creme?
I think so. Paul Sacco comes into this game with a record of 313 wins, 61 losses, and 5 ties. He, I'm sure, remembers all 61 of those losses. He is a dedicated coach. In his 36th season, his teams have qualified for the state tournament. 35 out of his 36 years, and he has won 47 games just in the state tournament.
That's less than 2 losses a year in his career.
Well, last year was an off year. They were 7-4. In the 6 years before that, they either won 10 or 11 games, and he has never had a losing season. I mean, when you'd think once in a while, you'd have a losing season. I'm counting them as I look here. 6 and 5 is 11. 15 seasons with 10 or more wins. So this is a guy that's been through it all. It's a very small school, of course, but then again, being a non-public school, they have a wide area from which to bring athletes and singers for their school play and everything else. But they play on Bill Bendig Field, which is a great story in itself. The fields are named after people for different reasons. This one named after the Carey brothers, Fenton and John, because of their great contributions to Ocean City, much like Dixie Howell's gymnasium is in the high school. Well, Bill Bendig Field, they made this field themselves, the Boosters, out of an open lot, and they were going to play Hamilton on Thanksgiving morning, and this was going to be the first game on their field. And the guy, Bill Bendig, was afraid that some Hamilton rowdies would come paint some blue stuff on the field and all that stuff. So he brought his camper in, and he spent the night and died of a heart attack.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't know that.
So if anybody ever deserved to have a field named after him, it was Bill Bendig. I did that game on the radio, and I can still remember during the national anthem, his son, a junior tackle on the team, standing as the national anthem's played and the dedication of the field is announced. And it was an amazing game. But, it's just a long history that they have. They don't have lights. Because the neighbors don't want them, and Cedar Creek also doesn't have lights. So 2 of the best teams in the Cape Atlantic League play on Saturdays when they're at home.
Well, Cedar Creek doesn't have any neighbors to complain. That's for sure.
No,
big as that place is.
I'm surprised that they didn't put lights in when they built it, because they have everything else. We're going to take time out for a couple of messages. This is the Game of the Week, produced by Prime Events on 106.3 The Shore, brought to you by Atlantic Care, with urgent care centers all over South Jersey. Yeah, there's just 2 spots, right? Yeah, just play them both. Is it Al? Did you say your name was Ollie? Allie, yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
You see what moniker you got? I don't know. She wasn't a bar. She was on the committee, so last night was all the committee members.
Ocean City comes onto the field here at Carey Stadium. The captains are ready to go out to the center of the field. We've talked about the great history of St. Joseph. Ocean City last beat them in 1976. They don't play every year, but they've only played 9 times since then. But because they haven't been in the same divisions or the same conferences, and who knows what will happen next year because there'll be some realignment in the West Jersey Football League. But there's some talent here this year. Quasine Townsell, their big, powerful running back who transferred from Holy Spirit after playing there his freshman year. He's good size, 6'1", 207 pounds. He scored 19 rushing touchdowns, 130 points this year. He also has 8 two-point conversions, the most in Cape Atlantic League school. And then there's Jada Byers, the sophomore. You know, there was a young man at St. Joe's in 1998. He scored a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, a kickoff return, a punt return, and a defensive touchdown. And nobody had done that again at a Cape Atlantic school until Zeke Ennis at St. Augustine last year. Well, Jada Byers in the first 8 games of the season as a sophomore has 12 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing, 1 kickoff, 3 punt returns, and 1 defensive touchdown. So he has scored a touchdown every way you can score a touchdown and is a dangerous, dangerous weapon. And then in reserve, they've got a guy named Nate Johnson, a junior, who has scored 5 touchdowns, just overshadowed a bit by the other 2 running backs. They do not throw the ball much. Mitchell Donovan, their quarterback, he's a junior. He's only thrown the ball 30 times, completed 20, 3 for touchdowns, but they are a dangerous football team. Here's the national anthem from the Ocean City High School Band. Ocean City High School Band live presentation, the national anthem. Don't forget, our sister station is bringing you Brian Kniff and Scott Wall, Middle Township and Pleasantville at 98.7 The Coast. In case you want to switch back and forth if you're listening on live radio, that game has a playoff position at stake. The winner will probably qualify. The loser will probably not. There are other circumstances that could change that, but that should be. Middle Township hasn't played since they played Ocean City 3 weeks ago, so they've had plenty of time to get ready. But by the way, quick question. Yeah, and of course it's in the headlines and all this stuff with national anthems and the NFL and stuff like that. What are you supposed to do if the national anthem's played and there's no flag? Where are you supposed to look?
I don't know. I just think you stand at attention and
you look at the music.
Is that right?
I read that as some sort of an etiquette thing. That whoever's singing or playing or whatever, that's what you. It probably rarely happens, but it was just something that occurred to me when I was watching this. It looks like Ocean City's going to start with the football. We assume St. Joe's won the toss.
They did.
But
they did.
Okay.
Won the toss and elected to defer.
Adam Monticelli is their place kicker, but Matt Jackson's going to kick off here. Monticelli has kicked some extra points for him, but they tend to go for 2. So Ocean City 6-1, St. Joe's 8-0. Championship of their division in the West Jersey Football League at stake. And here we go. It's a ground ball right up the middle, taken at about the 15-yard line and returned out across the 30, still going. Broke out of a couple of tackles inside the 25 and got out to about the 33 or 34-yard line. So Ocean City will have decent position on about its own 34-yard line to start here.
I think the fact that Ocean City has had some success this year, Tom, it's easier to say to the kids in the locker room, look, they put their shoulder pads on the same way you do. You know, they're high school kids just like you do. Let's not be intimidated, and I don't think the Raiders will be intimidated.
Ocean City, a running team. This is a tough team to run against. Then alone in the backfield is Feifel. He's going to throw on first down. He's going to go long down the left side. It's up in the air and incomplete. Boy, it looked like there was a lot of contact there, but the official was right there and didn't throw a flag, so it's 2nd and 10.
I thought he was holding, going down the contact. Looked like it was the defender was holding going down the sideline unless, the rule of the ball is not catchable, but it certainly was in bounds. So it's definitely catchable.
Raiders to go again, naked backfield. Feifel takes the snap. He's gone right up the middle. He gets a couple of yards to about the 37-yard line and is hit hard and brought to the ground. Feifel came into this game with 693 yards rushing and 14 touchdowns, among the leaders in the Cape Atlantic League in both categories.
Sean Morris is the center of that Wildcat defense, and he is a big, I'm going to say young man instead of boy. 276, 6'3".
Transfer from Philadelphia. He's a junior, 3rd and 7. All alone in the backfield again. Trips to the right, slot to the left. Feifel pointing out some things to his teammates. Ready for the snap. Quick pass is too high for Shawcross. Leap for it, couldn't pull it down. Right about at the first down marker, and Ocean City will punt.
Recognize, did Feifel a blitz coming from his right side from number 52, Brad Lomax, 234-pound defensive end, and it almost looked like a linebacker where he was lined up out there. They list him as a defensive end, and he had the right call, had Shawcross on a little post pattern there, shallow cross, just wasn't able to get him the ball.
Lashley to punt. Good snap, high kick. He floats it downfield, hits at the 40, rolls inside the 30, and it's going to be down at about the 26 or 27-yard line. Didn't reach Jada Byers. It was awfully deep, and he's returned 3 punts for touchdowns this year, so that's a weapon Ocean City didn't have to worry about on that particular punt.
Tom, we talked a little bit. You talked a little bit about, the talent that they have and the fact that they're such a small school, and a lot of people feel like when you can recruit players, doesn't matter how big your school is. If you get the right players, you can have 30 kids, and that's it. But I'll catch more later into that thought. Here we go.
Motion from the right side. It's Byers. And they hit the center with Townsell. He sheds a tackle. He's still going. He's out across the 35. He's got a first down at the 39-yard line. Looked like they had him at the 30, but he barreled through that tackle and picks up the first down.
Yeah, they're going to have to wrap and gang tackle, that's for sure, just to finish my point. And St. Joe obviously recruits the kids they want, but the thing that's impressive about them is that they also play so tough and usually win a lot of games against other teams that recruit, like Holy Spirit and St. Augustine's.
1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. Coming to the outside is Byers. He's caught from behind after he gains a couple of yards by Tom Meehan. Picks up 2 or 3 on the play.
Robertson in on the tackle as well. A good pursuit by Meehan there. They won't throw much, as you said, but if they're running the way they normally do, they won't have to throw much.
Right.
Be up to the Raiders at front 4, front 7, whatever you want to call it.
Now Byers comes out. Also, Nate Johnson comes out. So 2 of their better backs on the sidelines. You want to kind of look for Townsell here. 2nd and 7. They're repositioning people. Up under center is Donovan. Gives it to Townsell off the right side, trying to get to the sideline, and he does. Gets the first down across the 50, and it looks like the out of bounds at around the Ocean City 45-yard line.
Boy, he just really bounced that run outside and missed tackle over there. And he just kind of pushed the tackler away and got to the outside, was able to turn the corner and get that first down yardage.
Going to put it on the 47, the Ocean City 47-yard line. 1st and 10, 2 runs by Townsell, 2 first downs. Mitchell Donovan, the 5'9", 180-pound junior, is the quarterback. As we said, he only thrown it 30 times this year, but he's completed 20 of them. 3 for touchdowns. Townsell again. Townsell up the middle, and he's down to about the 41-yard line. And it's the old Mike Slaveski attitude. Keep doing it till they stop it.
Yeah, and when Mike was coaching, they couldn't stop it. He had the kids in the weight room. They were just bigger and stronger than everybody they played. And, you know, he could stand in the huddle and holler across, yo, we're going to run power right. And here we come, and they'd still gain 6 yards.
He was the coach here last time they beat St. Joe's. I think it might have been Ed Woolley. 76. We'll have to check that. The clock is stopped for a moment. Looks like it's an equipment problem for Ocean City.
That nice little sidestep left there on the run as the contact was made near the line of scrimmage. It reminded me of Kevin Sinclair, the way he used to get to the line of scrimmage and take that one slide step left or right real quickly.
Ed Woolley was the coach in 76. It was his first year. That's the last time the Ocean City's beaten St. Joe's. Now the official, John Fernsler's the referee, and he's going to force James Rice has had problems with his helmet all year. He's going to force him to leave the game because they cannot get it fastened properly, and he's going to get help quickly because they want him in there. 2nd and 3, almost 4, and now whistles again.
Raider timeout.
Ocean City calls timeout. So there's 9:02 left in the first quarter. And St. Joe's on the march after stopping Ocean City with its first possession. Game of the week produced by Prime Events on 106.3 The Shore, brought to you by Atlantic Care, with urgent care centers all over South Jersey. At Wiesenthal's Auto Service in Ocean City, their staff will repair your vehicle and prevent potential problems. Call them at 609-399-9741 to schedule an appointment. No matter where you live, it's worth a trip to Ocean City to keep your vehicle operating properly. Don, Glenn, the legendary Al, and Chris the rock star will handle all of your repairs. Wiesenthal's Auto Service, 9th and West, right in the center of Ocean City. Congratulations to Aaron Bogashevsky and the boys soccer team at Ocean City. They won today on this field 5-0. Matt Brook and Adam King scored twice, and Josiah Nestorenko with 2 assists. He has 22 assists this year, the second highest total in South Jersey. They will play next Tuesday here for in the South Jersey semifinals. Girls soccer will play next Monday in the South Jersey semifinals. Both soccer teams are number 1 seeds, so they won't have to play on the road.
Tom, I think you got a timeout there from Ocean City because they wanted to make sure that they could get Rice back in the game.
Yeah.
And it was just taking a little time to get that helmet fixed, and I think that's why they called the timeout.
And there might be some dispute about it because they're having a discussion with the referee, and Rice is not in there.
Yeah, I think they had to take him out. That's why. I bet you that's why.
Can do it in basketball, maybe. 2nd and 3rd or 3 or 4 yards to go. It's a pitch. Townsell trying to get to the outside. He hesitates. There's a flag on the play, and he's hit and stopped at about a yard behind the line of scrimmage. And it gets a hand like he scored. Ocean City had scored a touchdown. I mean, he had been so dominant in his runs. You can see here, if you're watching it at OceanCitySports.com, the live stream. Good pursuit by Ocean City, good penetration, and they finally just ganged up on him.
Vic Mahar and Brandon Lynn, the 2 linebackers in the first guys to make those tackles, and they're going back further for offensive holding.
So it didn't matter much. They'll move him back to the 46, the St. Joe 46. And they've got to get to the Ocean City 37, so it's 15 yards to go.
That's a big play just momentum-wise.
Sure. 2nd down over. 2nd, a little more than 15 to go. Back to throw is Donovan. He throws right sideline. It's caught for about 10 yards, maybe a little less than that, inside the 45 at about the 43-yard line. Looked like Byers made the catch.
Probably got all but maybe a yard or 2 back from the penalty. And again, when you got a team that runs the football like they do and pounds it inside, you kind of get lulled to sleep as far as thinking about defending the pass. He put that one right on the money.
3rd and about 6. Ball's at the 43 of Ocean City. St. Joe on the move. No score here in the first quarter. Donovan takes a snap in his shotgun, hands it off to Townsell. He drives off the left side, hits a tackler right about at the first down marker, and is driven backwards. We'll see how far they give him on penetration, but I'm sure they'll go for it on 4th down anyway.
Yeah, I would think so as well. I mean, like you said, they don't.
He got it.
They don't kick often.
Yep, he got the first down just by the length of the football.
Really a strong run by Townsell. Get an opportunity to see why he has done what he's done so far this year.
1st and 10 at the Ocean City 37. Donovan goes to the sideline, gets the play, and brings it in from the coaching staff. Smallest guy on that sideline has 313 wins. Snap, handoff to Townsell, going right, cuts it back, and he's inside the 35 to about the 32 for a pickup of about 5.
Yeah, they're just strong. They're going to run right at you, and the Raiders are hanging tough right now. I mean, this has been a drive that's taken probably 5 minutes, 4 minutes,
11:03 they started with the ball, so about 4 minutes. And Ocean City, one of the strengths of Ocean City all year is their quickness on defense, getting to the ball. And then they're showing that here, but he's a tough guy to bring down. Donovan under center, takes the snap, hands it off inside, and he breaks through a tackle. Inside the 10, or to about the 10, is Jada Byers. Good work by Donovan in the backfield, and Byers takes it into the 11-yard line.
Well, Tom, that's a play that Ocean City used to run when they were running more of the wing T offense, and St. Joe, I think, kind of made that play, I won't say made it famous, but they're the ones that used to run it all the time. They called it counter crisscross here. It's a double handoff. The initial handoff is to one of the running backs, and he hands off inside to the other running back, cutting across in the opposite direction. That's why it was so deceptive, and I tell you, when the play works, that's a pretty play.
And with those two guys, it's a real big play. There's Byers again coming to the left side, trying to sweep. He's hit at about the 7 or 8 yard line, driven out of bounds, gain of about 3.
Yeah, they Raiders stretched that one out pretty well, and they have contained to keep him from turning the corner there. They're 2nd and maybe 7. Still can get a first down right around the 1 yard line.
True Robinson has scored a touchdown for St. Augustine. They lead Vineland 7-0. Vineland might need to win this game to get in Group 5, even though they're 7-0. It depends on what other teams do.
Well,
ball's on. That's how soft their schedule's been, though. See, they didn't make it up. It's not their fault, but ball's on the 8. It's Townsell. Townsell up the middle. Townsell to the goal line, and he is just short. Well, maybe more than just. Might be around the 1 yard line, maybe even the 2. So it'll be 3rd down, and about 1.5 yards, 2 yards to go. They can get a first down.
Yeah, that's the problem. So actually, they got 6 plays to go 1.5 yards, really, at this point.
There's the snap. That's Townsell again. He hits the left side. He's driven back. He penetrated. We'll see if he penetrated far enough. Apparently not. They're holding up the fist, so it's 4th down. And the Ocean City defense toughening here.
Yeah, and I should correct myself when I said 6 plays to go 1.5 yards. A 4th down, they do have to go, still another half yard to get that first down.
And St. Joe's going to use a timeout here. 5:25 remaining in the first quarter. There's no score here. St. Joe's facing 4th and 1 at about the Ocean City 3 yard line. They can get a first down, and of course they're only 3 yards away from a touchdown. Ocean City Aquatic and Fitness Center has a newly renovated saltwater pool, strength and conditioning equipment, cardio machines, and fantastic aerobic and water exercise classes. The Aquatic and Fitness Center is open weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday from 7 till 6, and Sundays from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Phone 609-398-6900 for more information, or visit ocnj.us/recreation online.
I tell you, it was a big defensive play the last time, Tom. This one's even bigger. I mean, you talk about a momentum shift, if you will, or what this can do for you psychologically on both sides. You know, they get a stop here like they did on third down, this place will go crazy.
4th on the yard. Ball's on the 3. Donovan's up under center. Takes the snap, gives to Townsell. He hits the center of the line and drives closer to the goal line for the touchdown. In for the touchdown. Officials finally signal touchdown, and St. Joe's scores first on a 3-yard run by Townsell with 5:18 left in the first quarter.
You're getting a flag, I think, that came in there. Might have been after the play. Not sure. Thought I saw a flag back there. Yeah, it's a no touchdown, Tom. They're going to call assisting the runner.
All right.
I did see the flag back there that came in real late. It's not like the NFL where you can ever just keep pushing the pile. And, you know, he just tremendous second effort, but he had some big guys in there behind him pushing him forward across that goal line. What an excellent defensive stop.
All right, so they're going to get a 4th down here and 7 for a first down, 8 for a touchdown. They're on about the 8-yard line. They're making a lot of substitutions, but anybody holding a tee? They don't have a field goal this year.
Well,
Townsell's still there, so I guess that's all that matters.
I thought it looked like one player was holding a tee, but probably not. They're going to probably watch, you know, that they may try to go wide this time, because they've 2 opportunities, you know, inside the 3-yard line. They couldn't get a yard and a half to get that first down. Even though that one was negated by penalty, it was a penalty because they assisted the runner.
Ball's out around the 9. Donovan under center. Keeps it rolling right. Passes into the end zone. Too long. Incomplete. And Ocean City will take over the football on its own 9-yard line.
Well, the play was out there. Just wasn't able to connect with the receiver. The Raiders were getting some defensive coverage over there, maybe a step behind, but he was gaining by the time the football had gotten there. Had it been thrown well, I think would have been, pretty well defended, able to be knocked down. But that's a big defensive stand right there, Tom. As I said, we'll see if it really provides some extra momentum for the other side of the football as they come out on offense.
Strong drive by St. Joe. They held the ball for about 5 minutes, but they could not get it in the end zone. Here's Feifel back to his right. He keeps going right. Behind a block, he drives out across the 15-yard line for a gain of about 6 or 7 yards.
Yeah, and again, you have a lot of kids play both ways up on the line, and defensively, when you make a stop and a stand like you did there, it just kind of inspires you a little bit to get off those blocks and, do a little better job offensively as well, player on that line.
He's got it back to his right. Feifel, 5th in the league in rushing. Looks over the defense. He's going to call timeout. So Ocean City's used 2 timeouts here in the first quarter. This one with 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in that first quarter. Atlantic Care Urgent Care Centers are located throughout South Jersey, staffed with board-certified providers, registered nurses, and X-ray technologists. They provide care for non-life-threatening emergencies and illnesses 7 days a week, including holidays, without an appointment or long wait times. X-ray and lab services are right on site. If the unexpected happens, it's the urgent care you know you can trust. For a complete list of hours and locations, visit atlanticcare.org/urgent. Ocean City, after a defensive stop to kill a good St. Joe's drive, now faces 2nd and about 3 out around their 16-yard line. Feifel back to his right, takes the snap, hands it off, spinning out of one tackle, but stopped short of the line of scrimmage is Robertson.
First time anybody other than Feifel has carried the ball. He threw a couple passes, ran a few times himself. Brings up a third down, a makeable third down, 2 yards to go. It's where you may see them run that little option play with him.
3rd and 2. Feifel with a back to his left. He's got a slot to the left. Wing back on the right side. Takes the snap. Quick pass is intercepted. Intercepted at about the 18-yard line and in for the touchdown. St. Joe picks off a pass intended out in the flat. And they take a 6-0 lead.
Well, I'm not sure that he actually even saw the defender there. He kind of floated that pass a little bit, and he had his intended receiver out there. I just don't think that he necessarily saw the defender. If he had, it just wasn't if he had seen him, it certainly was an ill-advised pass. But like I said, he didn't really zing it out there. He just kind of floated it a little bit. But defenses are tough as well. Raiders had a big stand, and now St. Joe's is getting a pick 6.
Adam Monticelli will kick the extra point. Ball is down. The kick is up. It's blocked. It's blocked. So it stays 6-0.
That's a dumb. Raiders are going to get a penalty here, Tom. In exuberance, one of the defensive players on the field kicked the ball while it was lying on the ground in excitement, I guess, and kicked it clear across the end line over the St. Joe bench. I'm sure they're
13-yard line, the dark end of the field. Feifel takes the snap, hands it off, shooting off the left side and diving out across close to the 20-yard line is Roberts.
I'll tell you, if he had been able to keep his feet,
yeah, he had room.
He had a lot of room to go, but he might have got tripped up there near the line of scrimmage. But you could tell he did all he could just to gain what he did.
About 6 yards, 2nd and 4. Feifel takes a snap, rolling right, looking to cut back, and there's nothing there. He stopped. He may have gotten a yard out across the 20.
Another flag. I think it'll be a hold probably.
So Ocean City will be moving back. He picked up a couple. It would have been 3rd and 2. Instead, it's going to be 2nd and about probably 15 or 16. Let's see where it ends up. It'll be half the distance maybe. It's inside the 10, right on the 10. So it's not as bad. It's 12, a 2nd down and about 13 yards to go.
Yeah, the only good piece of it is you get the play over.
Yep. Feifel alone in the backfield, trips to the left. Receiver wide to the right. Now a shift. Back to throw, a little screen over the middle. It's tipped and incomplete. Trying to get it to Bergman in the right flat. It was a little off center, and he tried to pull it in but couldn't. So it's 3rd and 13.
Just a little bit high, a tremendous pass rush that time, and they were allowing the rush to come in because they had this little short pass, swing pass, screen pass, whatever you want to call it. Actually, more of just a short forward pass there, and just under a lot of pressure.
Alone in the backfield, Feifel. Kroger checked into the game. Back to throw. Blind side. Ball knocked out of his hands. And did he save it or not? St. Joe player trying to keep it in bounds. And apparently did.
Wow.
So, of course, if it had gone out of bounds in the end zone, it would have been a safety. But they knocked it out of bounds on the 1. Then Ocean City will have to punt from deep in its own end zone.
Well, he's looking downfield, and I don't know if he had anybody open or not, but that ball was really close to being out of bounds. I don't know. I'd like to see that in slow motion. I thought that ball was, from here, definitely looked out of bounds.
Feifel hit from the blind side, and the ball went flying. Byers is at the Ocean City 40. Here's the punt. It's low. It's going to roll to Byers. He picks it up at the 37-yard line, trying to get to the right side. Good pressure by Ocean City, but he's avoiding every tackle. He gets to the 30, cuts it back at the 25. He's down to the 20 and maybe the 19-yard line. So he brought it back about 15 yards, but he went all over the place to do it.
Tell you what, Tom, That was an amazing return. He could have been tackled 5 or 6 different times. The cuts he made were phenomenal. I mean, they just sophomore, 156-pound sophomore. Going to hear a lot about him in the next couple of years.
He's brought 3 of them back for touchdowns. Donovan up under center, 1st and 10 at the 20. Hands the ball off to Johnson, going right, and he's driven out of bounds after about a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, they run that. They run that play to the short side of the field where there's not a whole lot of room to turn the corner over there. And again, the Raiders are able to string it out and push it out of bounds.
Nate Johnson's a 5'9", 172-pound junior, and a pretty good back. It doesn't get as much opportunity because of the 2 fabulous backs in front of him.
That might have been a highlights reel film return there.
2nd and 9. Donovan gives Townsell off the left side, and he's wrapped up and stopped after about a 2-yard gain. Terrific tackle, Isaac Robertson, I think.
Yep, it was Isaac Robertson. You're exactly right. I was straining to see through the glare here in the window.
He got some help, but he wrapped him around the ankle, wouldn't let go.
Yep.
3rd and about 8. St. Joe on the Ocean City 18. They lead 6-0. They had a nice drive stopped by Ocean City, but then the Raiders were intercepted on the next possession and returned it for a touchdown. Donovan under center. Drops back, sets, fires over the middle. It's caught at about the 7-yard line, down the right side and into the end zone. Nate Johnson, I believe, made the catch.
Yep.
And it's a touchdown for St. Joe. We said they don't throw much, and they've scored twice off passes, though one of them was on defense. An 18-yard touchdown pass here.
They've had a couple big pass plays. One for a first down earlier in the quarter, and then and that one right there. I mean, just a nice route crossing pattern and really a wide open receiver. You could tell that the Raiders are gearing up to stop the run, and that makes them a little more susceptible as far as the coverage defensively in the backfield.
They'll go for 2. Townsell leads the league with 8 two-point conversions. He gets it, going right, drives to the goal line. No signal yet. He didn't get it. So the Ocean City defense has stopped the extra point attempts, but St. Joe's leads it here by a score of 12-0 with a minute and 19 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The rides aren't open at Gillian's Wonderland Pier, 6th in the Boardwalk in Ocean City, but this is a good time to get bargains for next summer. As a matter of fact, you go online to Gillians.com, you can buy tickets for half price starting today. Wonderland Pier, your tickets never expire. Bring your leftover tickets from this year to the park when it opens next spring. Gillian's Wonderland Pier, 6th in the Boardwalk in Ocean City. Again, go to Gillians.com, get tickets for next summer at half price starting today, or visit Staten's Gallery on Asbury Avenue, downtown Gillians. This is the game of the week, produced by Prime Events on 106.3 The Shore, brought to you by Atlantic Care, with urgent care centers all over South Jersey.
Raiders like to get something here on the board. They don't want to get behind too much. They've played well. They just find themselves on the short end of a 2-touchdown minus extra point deficit here.
Here's the kick. It's an onside attempt. And there's a pile-up at the 48-yard line. St. Joe thinks they got it, and they did. St. Joe has the football on the Ocean City 48-yard line.
Yeah, I wasn't sure at first if that was intentional or not. But, I'm guessing it was when I saw Nate Johnson kind of look over toward the Ocean City sideline and hold his hands out like, hey, how about that one? Which... maybe that's not what he was thinking, but that's the way it came across.
Ball's on the 49-yard line, Ocean City 49-yard line, and St. Joe back in business. Receiver, Diego Martinez, split to the left. And they hand the ball off to Byers, and Byers makes his way for about 5 yards to the Ocean City 45 or 44-yard line.
Boy, he's just so talented with making that quick cut. Not a lot of guys can do that at full speed, make that sideways one-step move to get through the line of scrimmage where the opening is.
Atlantic Care scoreboard, it's still St. Augustine 7, Vineland nothing at the end of one quarter. We understand Vineland had a touchdown call back. Here's the play. And they hand the ball off going down the right side. Not into the open. Held on defensively, making a stop. There's a flag on the play.
I don't know what we're going to get down there, but the Ocean City players are not reacting properly as far as if it would be against St. Joe. It's at the end, toward the end of the run.
I couldn't see the signal. It was the face mask?
I don't know, but it's too many people standing in front of the official.
Yeah. You see Nate Johnson is inside the 15 down near the 10-yard line, pulled to the ground there.
Yeah, that has to be.
And the flag comes in right after that.
Has to be a face mask penalty.
So the ball is on the 14-yard line. Well, no, down to the 7. So, yeah, it's a half the distance penalty against Ocean City. First and goal. Motion from the right. They hand the ball off, driving to the goal line, and in for the touchdown. '20th touchdown of the year for Quasim Townsell, 20th rushing touchdown, and St. Joe's takes an 18-0 lead.
Well, you would think they'll go for 2 again. Just it's interesting how things have turned here. The Raiders make that defensive stop the first time down, and still nothing game. And next thing you know, it's 18 and maybe 20.
They will go for 2. Donovan's under center, puts a man in motion. He rolls right, pass into the end zone is incomplete.
Their record.
They get a home game.
Cedar Creek leads Oakcrest 14-0, Tom.
Okay, here comes the kick. It's a line drive taken at about the 25-yard line, looking for running room, and gets out to about the 35-yard line. And now people are yelling and whistles are blowing. Don't know if there's any flags. Officials are moving, telling people, move back to your sidelines.
Yeah, exactly.
Ocean City huddles before each series, so they'll come to the sidelines. They're going to start on their own 34-yard line, so they actually are 2 yards further back by taking that penalty.
Yeah, they had good field position. I was actually a little surprised they took that penalty, but
Feifel has a back to his right, receivers to each side. Takes the snap, hands it off. Running back up the middle is Robertson, and he's out across the 35 to about the 38-yard line. Excuse me, that was Liam Bergman on the carry. Bergman brings it out to about, call it the 39-yard line. That's going to be the end of the first quarter here at Carey Stadium. St. Joe's leads it 18-0 over Ocean City. The game of the week produced by Prime Events on 106.3 The Shore, brought to you by Atlantic Care with urgent care centers all over South Jersey. Interstate Batteries of Egg Harbor Township has been providing South Jersey with outrageous dependability for over 30 years with over 1 million battery sales. They not only have a battery for your car, but for your boat, RV, motorcycle, ATV, truck, golf cart, or power chair. Interstate Batteries, America's #1 replacement battery, is located at 6064 Riga Avenue, Egg Harbor Township. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturdays 9 to 2. If you need a battery, you'll find it at Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable.
well, they flip it ends, and the defense has been outstanding so far for St. Joe. The Raiders have played good defense too, despite the fact it's 18-0.
Feifel hands it off, and they'll spin him to the ground at about the line of scrimmage. Very little gain on the play. It's going to be 3rd and 5 for Ocean City. The Raiders inside their own 40. They're looking for a first down to get something going. They trail here 18-0. Feifel alone in the backfield, and a flag. I don't know what it is, but the official right in front of the Ocean City bench threw the flag. Tom Meehan was coming off the field.
Almost like
But he got off the field before the snap, so apparently they're picking it up. 3rd and 5. Feifel alone in the backfield. Double slot, actually trips to the right. Takes the snap. Under quick pressure, throws too quickly, and it's behind Rolls. He had to throw it right away because they were bearing down on him, and he didn't have any time at all.
You know, they almost guessing the snap count. I mean, they're in there so quickly that that time 2 or 3 defenders, and it looks like they start, and honest to goodness, they're a shade before beating that snap count.
Pleasantville Middle Township scoreless after 1 quarter. Here's the snap. Lashley runs it over to the right side and gets a high punt away. And it gets an Ocean City roll inside the 30 to about the 25-yard line. So St. Joe will take over on its own 25. 11:05 left in the first half. And the Wildcats on top here by a score of 18-0.
Going to be a interesting series here. I mean, this is a, buckle up your chin strap and let's make sure that this thing doesn't get out of hand here in the first half. I mean, again, 3 touchdowns, and yet it doesn't seem like 3 touchdowns.
St. Joe starts from its own 25. And a handoff. Ball may have come loose. Scramble for something. No, I guess not. That was just Townsell being knocked backwards. He picked up a yard and then was driven back a couple more yards.
Yeah, it's again, they've played the run at times really, really well. They've made some great defensive stops, and then, you're just not going to keep a running game and a running back like that contained the whole time.
2nd and 9, gain of a yard. Back to throw. Under pressure, but gets it away. It's way too long. Well covered by Lashley, and good pressure by Ocean City. So it'll be 3rd and 9 for St. Joe.
I think that time, Donovan wanted to get rid of the ball quickly and thought he could just air it out. Lashley running stride for stride, the ball pretty well overthrown. So this is a play where a lot of teams that throw the ball, you would think that this is a throwing down, 3rd and 9. But Townsell has the ability, and so does Byers, to pick up 9 yards. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here.
Byers on the right wing. Townsell in the backfield. Donovan under center. Byers goes in motion. And running room up the middle, spinning across the 30 to the 31-yard line. And short of the first down by about 4 yards. That was Byers, and he made the best out of nothing.
I couldn't see the number, but just by the way he ran, I would have guessed that's exactly who it was, because, he has a unique style of running, and he's certainly not a put your head down and plow straight ahead. And they're going to go for this on 4th down.
Ocean City's in punt formation. And St. Joe now goes into punt formation. They were short a man. Lashley stands inside his own 40. Good snap, waist high, good rush. Good kick. Drives Lashley back. He makes the catch at the 26-yard line and is taken down at about the 26-yard line. He was trying to make a cut, but great defense by Diego Martinez, who ran through a block to make the tackle, actually drove him back a yard.
And actually, one of the better plays there was the fact that the Ocean City player did not block him in the back, because it looked like he was going to, and that was the only shot he had to stop him, and he kind of held up and realized, that was going to draw 15 if he did.
So 1st and 10 for Ocean City. They trail here 18-0. Feifel back to his left. Takes a snap, back to throw. He throws it long down the center of the field. There's nobody there. It was 10 yards beyond Rolls, but Rolls was down the left side, so somebody missed something somewhere.
Well, they had a receiver down the left and down the right, and one running a post pattern, one running maybe a shallow post. And the ball kind of thrown in between the two of them. Not sure which one that was intended for.
2nd and 10. Feifel. And a whistle.
They get movement from somebody.
Well, they're going to step 5 yards off, I guess, against Ocean City.
Yeah, one of the wide receivers there, I think, just kind of moved a little bit, half a step before the snap count. Split way wide and right in front of the official. So
2nd, about 15. Feifel wants him to run through the plays again, so he makes sure he's got it back to his right. They shift the right tackle to left guard. And now the back shifts to the left side. Feifel's going to go to the left side. He cuts it back. He's got some room. He's out across the 25 and just short of the 30.
Well, the shift worked, that's for sure. Got that extra lineman on that side of the ball and ran to that side. Good stop over there. Again, defensively, it was Townsell. Plays linebacker. Running back and linebacker. Interesting combination, Tom.
Yeah. It's out to the 28. 4th and about 7. Well, excuse me, 3rd and 7. Feifel back to throw. Like a quarterback draw, he throws it at the last minute, but it bounces incomplete. So it'll be a 4th down now for Ocean City.
Yeah, he had his arms pinned behind him as he was trying to throw the ball. St. Joe defensive player coming up from behind, grabbed his arm, and he was just fortunate to get that away and avoid the sack. That's going to bring the Raiders into a kicking situation again. Hey, there's a reason St. Joe is ranked where they are. They're a heck of a football team, and you just keep plugging away.
Lashley inside his 15 awaits the snap. It's a good snap. Not much of a rush. Gets an end-over-end kick away. It hits across the 50 and rolls dead at about the St. Joe 41-yard line. So St. Joe, with 8:18 left in the first half and an 18-point lead, takes over on its own 41-yard line.
You know, it's interesting. I said it's difficult, not difficult, but unusual to see a running back play linebacker. And in high school, it's not unusual if your running back is more like a fullback for him to play linebacker. But for a halfback or a tailback who runs as well as he does to play linebacker, it's impressive.
Byers gets it in motion, going left. He cuts it to the 45, to the 50. He's grabbed as he goes across the 50, close to the first down. We'll see where they mark it. Looks like he's got it.
Very, very quick to the outside. Now, he's one that's tough to contain when they run that sweep one way or the other. He's special, Tom. He's obviously maybe not the best running back we've seen this year. I'm not saying either one of them are, but he's kind of fun to watch. Just the style of how he runs. I'm sure he's not fun to watch if you're the defense or the defensive coach trying to figure out how to stop him.
Very versatile. Ball's on the 47 of Ocean City. 1st and 10, St. Joe. Motion, they give it to Townsell straight ahead, and he's stopped at the 45-yard line for a gain of about 2.
Interesting little play there in a double wing formation. They put the man in motion, and he faked receiving the direct snap as he was running sideways behind the line of scrimmage, running parallel to it. So that may be a play that you'd see later on where they would actually snap the ball to him. You know, it's not like they're, gaining 7, 8, 10 yards every play here. Raiders have been tough.
Absolutely. 2nd 8. Up the middle, Townsell, and he drives inside the 40. Picks up about 7 yards. Ocean City player slow to get up.
Yeah, that was a borderline. You could tell the official looked like he was getting ready to grab the flag and maybe throw it. A little extracurricular activity down there. And, you're on the side of the field with the Ocean City fans, so they felt that it was against their player who kind of put his hands up like, hey, I'm not doing anything, and he wasn't. I think the referee has just spoken to both sides.
So it's 3rd and 1, and driving for what looks to be the first down. Looks like he's down to about the 37-yard line.
Another good tackle by Isaac Robertson, Tom. He's one of the quick guys on the field that can, contain Byers, I should say.
They got it. Got the first down. That's their 8th unofficially. On the 37-yard line. 1st and 10. Motion from the left side. Townsell drives, tripped up, and gets inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line.
Yeah, somebody who was blocked down there at the line of scrimmage, I think it was Billy Kroger, was able to reach up and grab an ankle on the way by.
So a gain of about 3. It's 2nd and 7. St. Joe on top here, 18-0. About 5.5 minutes left in the first half. Donovan under center, puts Byers in motion, pitches the ball to Townsell going left, down the left sideline. Looks to have enough for the first down inside the 25-yard line.
Yeah, speed and power. Put Byers in motion and give him an extra blocker out there, although, at 5'7", 156 pounds, he's not going to be taking on anybody real big. I mean, he might take him on, but you wouldn't think he'd be able to knock him out of the way. But a good run by Townsend for another first down.
Ball's on the 25, 1st and 10, St. Joe.
Oakcrest has gotten a safety, but Cedar Creek has another touchdown, 21-2.
There's a pitch to Townsell going left, down the left sideline, inside the 20, and driven out at about the 18 or 19-yard line.
Band leaving the stands, getting ready to march down to the field. I was surprised last week at Cape May. They had so many people dressed in band uniforms, and they have so many people in the music program.
Yeah.
But they don't do marching band. He said it's not something kids want to do nowadays.
Buna scored again. They lead Lower Cape May 14-0 on the Atlantic Care scoreboard. Donovan up under center, motion from the left side, hands the ball off, driving into the secondary, and inside the 10-yard line is Townsell, and it'll be 1st and goal.
Yeah, no, you mentioned it in the beginning, 6'1", 207-pound senior Townsell, and certainly a formidable opponent.
Another update on the Atlantic Care scoreboard. Mainland has scored and takes a 7-6 lead over Absegami. Absegami could qualify with a loss, but they don't want to take that chance. And here, driving off the left side inside the 5-yard line. 2nd and goal for St. Joe's.
If they lose, Tom, they'd be what, 3-5?
Mm-hmm. There's going to be a couple teams in Group 4 with losing records.
So they could be 3-5 and make the playoffs, and Vineland could be 7-1 and not make the playoffs in their division.
It's possible. It's just the way things have lined up. The teams that are in those respective groups. Paul Sacco talking to Donovan. He is indeed the shortest person on the side. If he walks by the manager, they're about eye to eye. But a giant with 313 victories.
When he takes a knee, he doesn't have to go far.
The handoff is off the right side, driving to the goal line.
Close.
And in. Officials waited, gave the signal. St. Joe scores its 4th touchdown and leads 24-0 with 4:09 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, now they're starting to wear you down a little bit here. You're playing your heart out, and you're really, playing pretty decent defense, and next thing you know, you're still 4 minutes left in the half, and you're facing a 4-touchdown deficit.
Haven't been able to convert an extra point. Had a kick blocked, tried 3 two-point conversions, or 2 two-point conversions, both unsuccessful. Here's a quick one into the end zone, and good for the two-point conversion this time. So St. Joe's increases their lead to 26-0. Two-pointer caught by Diego Martinez, and they'll kick off to Ocean City with 4:09 left in the first half.
Interesting to see now what kind of kickoff this is. So the short variety again or not?
If you live in Cape May County and you're having problems with an appliance, your next call should be to Ulmer's Appliance Service. Dryers, refrigerators, ranges, washers, dishwashers, disposals, you name it, Ulmer's can repair it, and they service most major brands. Ulmer's Appliance Service has offices in Ocean City, Wildwood, Seaville, and Sea Isle City. There's one close to you. Phone 609-399-4398 for more information. Ulmer's Appliance Service. This game brought to you with the best wishes of everyone at Calvi Electric in Atlantic City, who encourage you to get out and support your favorite high school team each and every week. Well, things are developing here on the scoreboard. Atlantic City hanging close with Millville. St. Augustine beating Vineland right now. Mainland just taking a lead over Absegami. In all games that have some playoff implication, either getting into the playoffs or getting a home game. And Middle and Pleasantville are scoreless. Here comes the kick. It's a boomer. Straight up the middle. It's taken at the 21-yard line. And returning it out to almost the 35-yard line before a whole bunch of St. Joe defenders. It was a long time whistle, before that whistle was blown. That was a kick returned for Ocean City by Keegan Albert.
All these games, 6 o'clock starts on Tom?
Tonight?
Yep.
I think there's one 7 o'clock game. I forget which one. I think it's Egg Harbor Township.
Yep, you're right.
So Ocean City starts on its 33. Well, now they're moving it up to 35.
Forward progress, even though the whistle took a while.
Yeah. Feifel back to his left. Slot to the right. Takes the snap. Keeps it. And he's going to be hit for a loss. Back around the 33-yard line. Good penetration. Adam Monticelli, the kicker. Obviously more than a kicker. 5'11", 235-pound junior among the St. Joe defenders.
Yeah, Bergman, I think, kind of felt like if he had kept the ball, he had some yardage, but St. Joe was quick to recognize he didn't have it.
2nd and 12. And this time they do give it to Bergman, and he does get some yardage. A couple people hit Feifel, too. Bergman gets the first down out across the 40 to about the 41. Matt Jackson makes the tackle.
Yeah, the first play actually lost a couple yards, and then he got that back plus about 6 more.
Feifel keeps going left. Runs between 2 tacklers and dives. May have gotten across the 45, which would be a first down.
Yeah, I think he did.
That would be Ocean City's first down of the game. They actually going to spot it all the way out to the 46.
Had those big guys up front pulling around to the left to lead him around here on that short side of the field.
3 minutes left in the first half. It's 26-0. St. Joe's leads. Feifel with a back to his left, a slot to the right. He keeps it. Fake to Robertson. Doing some nice work back there, Feifel. He had a couple people hit Robertson, but Feifel kept it and went a couple of yards out to about the 48.
Yeah, St. Joe's have 7-8 guys up within a couple yards of the line of scrimmage, and they're really not worried too much about the pass. Now they get a 1 center deep zone.
Receiver to each side. Feifel takes a snap, keeps it going left, sidesteps the tackle, and gets out to about the 50.
But Robertson jumped a little early, and the pass was going to be, by him because he jumped too early, and then he recovered and was made sure that the pass was not completed after that.
2nd and 10. From the 25-yard line. There goes Byers to the left side. He cuts it back behind a block, and he's going to be stopped a couple of yards short of the first down at about the 33-yard line. 3rd and 2 for St. Joe.
You know, it's difficult too when you don't know. You can't key on one running back because they have 2 running backs that are equally capable of picking up short yardage. I mean, this is 90% chance running play here. You just got to figure out which back's going to get the ball.
This time it's Byers. He cuts it, fakes it inside, spins, pulls out of a tackle, spins out of another, and finally 3 or 4 guys stop him at the 40. But he's got the first down. And St. Joe's has 43 seconds left. Clock stops for the chains to move. They still have 2 timeouts.
Good pursuit. Tom Meehan gets up off the bottom of the pile, but he certainly had help there as well. And you know, you have to do it. You just have to gang tackle him. Somebody's got to hit him, hold on until help arrives.
Ball's out to the 41. They wind up the clock. Wildcats do not call timeout.
Yeah, they don't seem to be in a big hurry here.
They lead it 26-0. They'll be happy with that.
As would most teams.
Donovan awaits the snap. He pump fakes. He's throwing long down the left side. And good position by Ocean City. And it's incomplete.
Well,
he does throw a nice ball. And in that particular case, the defender stopped and wouldn't let the potential receiver get past him.
I think it was Bristol out there. It's across the field. Difficult to see, but you know, they do. Each team's throwing the ball deep on more than one occasion. So much for being satisfied with 26-0, throwing the ball down the sideline 40 yards.
2nd and 10 from their own 41. St. Joe leads 26-0, 21 seconds left first half. Backs are split, trips to the left. Donovan under pressure, and he goes down. Goes down in the grasp of Sturley. Travis Sturley makes the sack. And that is Travis Sturley's 5th sack of the season.
Yeah, there are some big boys up front.
Take that back. It's his 6th sack of the season. So they're going to let the clock run out now, and it ends. The first half ends with St. Joe leading Ocean City 26-0. They've scored on an intercepted pass, a pass, and 2 runs by Townsell, and lead it here 26-0. We'll be back, take a further look at the scoreboard, recap the first half, and get ready for the second half of this game. But right now, we'll take time out for these messages. You're listening to the Game of the Week, produced by Prime Events on one. You'd think of Millville, which has a lot of diversity in their offense, and Holy Spirit, but the answer would be Pleasantville. Mm-hmm. Pleasantville has 9 different players who have or 8 different players who have scored 20 or more points, led by Mohamed Toure, who has 74. But the most interesting aspect of it is, of those 8 players, 6 of them are underclassmen. This is a young Pleasantville team. They're going to have an awful lot back next year, but right now they're concerned with the second half against Middle Township, trying to get into the playoffs with all the things they've accomplished this year. They may be able to qualify with a loss, depending on what other teams do, but they don't want to take that chance. And I'm sure Middle Township, which played in the playoffs last year, would like to get back, and they've had a 3-week layoff to get ready for this game. But that's scoreless at halftime. It's also available radio play-by-play on our sister station, 98.7 The Coast.
You know, Tom, I think one of the things that this West Jersey Football League has done is it has certainly made the schedules, made the teams a little bit more parity in the schedule. You know, you're not, St. Joe's isn't playing Pleasantville. They're not playing, you know, the teams are pretty much matched against teams that it's more competitive. At least it seems that way to me in the games I've seen.
I think there are more competitive games. I think teams like Pleasantville, Ocean City have benefited from the schedules that they've played. They've also been hurt by the schedule that they played, in the sense that if they're good enough to win against teams that are a little better, and they're both Ocean City and Pleasantville have pretty good teams this year, if they're good enough to win against teams that are a little bit bigger or a little bit better, they would have more power points. And Pleasantville here, you got a team that's 6-1, and they may not get in the playoffs if they don't win tonight. You got Vineland, who had a very soft schedule, and of course Group 5 is highly competitive, and if they don't win tonight, they could not get in at 7-1. So it has affected the power ratings a little bit, but you know, you can only do so much. There will be a change in schedule next year. Some of the divisions, Cape Atlantic schools, will be realigned. Who knows? You might see a Wildwood come in to one of the divisions that's mostly Cape Atlantic League, or a Delsey, or somebody like that. Or you might see a Bridgeton or a St. Augustine go into another division without Cape Atlantic schools because of their geographic location. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen, and it'll be announced probably soon after the football season's over. And then the crossover games are the biggest impact. Hopefully Ocean City doesn't go to Princeton Junction anymore, but you never know.
By the way, how many teams are going to make it in Group 3?
8. There'll be 8 in each group.
So the Raiders could be 6-2 and not be one of the top 4 teams.
Oh, it probably won't be one of the top 4 teams if they're 6-2. Yeah.
So the other 4 teams have records better than 6-2.
Well, they have PowerPoint structures better than 6-2. I mean, Timber Creek is at the top. They're the number 1 team in South Jersey, and they're number 1. And Delsey is the team that just moved ahead of Ocean City into the number 4 position. Delsey really probably is the second best team in Group 3, but they lost to Holy Spirit in overtime, and they had a win taken away from them by using a player that should have sat out 4 games over Cedar Creek. So those two, now that's our own fault, but those 2 situations have held them back. But they finally got things going, and they're going to probably be the number 4 seed. Lacey will probably be number 3, and Ocean City is almost definitely, especially now that they're trailing here 26-0, going to be on the road, more than likely at Delsey next Friday night, possibly at Lacey, which will be Saturday afternoon because they don't have lights. And then Ocean City's last playoff game was with Lacey, and they've had some great playoff games through the years with Lacey. So we'll see what happens, but it used to be the top 4 teams, or I don't know if they ever did it with 8, based on 1 lost record, and they used power points to break ties. But now it's purely power points.
You know, it's almost like when you look at the colleges, and there's a lot of talk this week about the 4 playoff teams, because I think this was the first week they came out with the ratings for the 4 teams, and it's possible that a team like, let's say, Wisconsin could end up the season undefeated and not be one of the top 4 teams. That's the big question there. Do you take a 1-loss Notre Dame, for example, over a team like Wisconsin that could end up undefeated? And of course, I think they'd have to play and beat Ohio State to be undefeated. But I'm just saying, those are the kind of
especially a Big Ten team.
Yeah, exactly. Could you imagine not a Big Ten team gets in and one of them's undefeated?
Yeah, that's a little strange.
Yeah, but I mean, and I'm not looking to, talk about what the scenarios are and which college teams at this point should and shouldn't be, because there's just too many weeks left. But it makes for good sports talk radio in the morning or the evening. But it's just the idea that, we're talking about a team like Pleasantville that could be one loss, maybe two, not make the playoffs. A Vineland, it could be 7-1 after tonight and not make the playoffs. So, a lot of different things can happen. It's really just an interesting scenarios both at the college level and the high school level.
Absegami has scored after a couple of turnovers. They now lead Mainland 13-7 in a game that's important to Absegami. They can get in the playoffs. They can get in the playoffs with a loss, but again, you don't want to be the guys watching scores of other games to see if you're going to qualify. You want to decide it yourself.
Yeah, and there again, that's another.
So it's going to be interesting. There's going to be some great games. I mean, there's an outside possibility that Vineland and Millville could play in the first round. And of course, they have that Thanksgiving game, which will decide the division championship in their West Jersey Football League division. So there's all kinds of interesting things that, as you just mentioned, St. Joe and Holy Spirit may be playing in the state championship game. All the other possibilities. Middle and Pleasantville are scoreless here, trying to qualify for the playoffs. This used to be a boring weekend if there wasn't a conference or a league championship on the line. But decades ago, when they started the playoffs, it created a real interesting weekend here, and a lot of interesting games. A lot of games that maybe wouldn't have been interesting, like Mainland Absegami with their respective records. This game would mean nothing if it wasn't for the old point system and the playoff qualification.
Right. And then, the idea that creating, I don't know if you want to call them consolation games, is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Because there were so many teams that would sit around for a week while everybody else was playing who made the playoffs. So that was kind of an inequity, whether you were playing or not playing. Be interesting to see I wonder if ever a couple of teams said, look, like Vineland and Millville, who play Thanksgiving Day every year, well, let's just play the one game and count it for both. Obviously not going to happen.
You got all kinds of problems with that. Absegami just scored again, and they now lead Mainland at the half 20-7. And they're starting the second half in that St. Augustine Vineland game. Pat Smith, the freshman from St. Augustine, has 81 yards and 16 carries. I think he's from Upper Township.
Boy, Mainland are really struggling this year, Tom.
Young team, though, and really the quarterback injury situation is ridiculous for them. I mean, you start going over their injuries, it sounds like you're talking about the Mets pitching staff. They had two quarterbacks. Well, they had one guy they thought were going to be their quarterback. He transferred to Pleasantville, where he's having a very good season. Then they had two other guys that they thought they'd use. Both of them got hurt in the first game and were out for the season. So then they decided, well, we'll take our fine running back, Kobe Robertson, we'll move him to quarterback, so he'll have the ball more. And, it was okay. He did gain yardage and score some touchdowns. But then a couple games ago, they decided to go with a sophomore. And he's a nice player, Jake Cook. And right here at the 40-yard line, he got hit. Ocean City defender had a 15-yard shot at him. Nobody blocked him. Nobody stopped him. He's rolling out to the right, and this guy hit him in the chest, full speed from 15 yards away, and when he went down, he hit his head. So he had a concussion, so he's out. Then they went with a freshman a little bit against Vineland last week, so it's really been a nightmare for Chuck Smith and his staff at Mainland at the quarterback position. But they're very young. They've got a lot of young players that'll be back next year, and I'm sure things will move in the right direction. And of course, there's other people that are got young people back next year, including the St. Joe's team.
It's a scary thought.
Yeah, it is. And Cedar Creek's a pretty young team, too. So if the divisions stay a lot the same, it'll be a formidable task again for Ocean City in the same division with Cedar Creek and St. Joe's. It looks like Ocean City's getting ready to kick off. St. Joe's will have their backs to the ocean. Shoppy's is even better online. You probably visited their showroom at 1031 Shore Road in Linwood, but at Shoppy.com, you can select and design your own trophy or award and order it right there. Shoppy's also has a complete line of gifts. Remember, you're not presenting the finest trophy unless you're presenting a Shoppy trophy. Phone 609-653-1684 for Shoppy's since 1921.
Well, St. Joe with a 4-touchdown lead and the football to start the second half. So
Keith Larkin's going to kick off. Josh Rolls did most of the kicking down at Lower Cape May, kicking off, and he's going to pooch it because he's standing a couple yards away from it, and he's just going to take a step and pooch it. Gets the whistle. They're ready to go. Little pop-up. Fair catch at the 44-yard line. And St. Joe will put it into play on its own 44, leading here 26-0 over Ocean City. Anthony Pinto made Denzel to the right of Donovan. Quick pass in the left flat. That's Martinez. He's surrounded, but he finds room down the sideline, and he's driven out of bounds. Looks like he's got enough for the first down.
Yeah, he made a good fake to the inside and drew the defensive back inside a little bit. Then he went around him to the outside. A good fake by him, and eventually help arrives, drives him out of bounds.
Gets to the 20, 1st and 10. Martinez will split to the right. Donovan to Townsell, up the middle, big hole, and he's down inside the 10, close to the 5-yard line. Another first down for St. Joe.
I tell you, he's just barreling his way through there right now. Raiders are on their heels, and we're just starting the second half here. Certainly don't want to give one up this early, but St. Joe knocking on the door already.
Another score for Buna. They lead Lower Cape May now 27-12. Donovan up under center. Gives the ball going left. Cutting it back is Byers. He's to the goal line, and he's in for the touchdown. Byers about a 6 or 7 yard touchdown run. And it's 32-0.
On another cutback. He's just really just good at it. I mean, I don't know. We keep talking about how good they are. They are good. I mean, they wouldn't come in here with the record they have if they weren't. We talked about how good the two running backs are, and they've just proven it here.
There's Townsell, bounces off the line in the center, tries to go right, but Ocean City drives him out of bounds. There's a flag on the play. They give up on the kicking the extra point after that one was blocked. They haven't tried one since. It really doesn't matter, you would think, at this point. You think they want to get that down. They have kicked some extra points this year, but they go for two a lot. There's a penalty on the play, and it's against St. Joe's. It'll be stepped off on the kickoff.
Couldn't tell what that signal was, but...
Well, he was in the dark end of the field. 32-0. St. Joe leads. We've got 10:58 left in the third quarter. The game of the week produced by Prime Events on 106.3 The Shore. Brought to you by Atlantic Care with urgent care centers all over South Jersey. Shoppy's is even better online. You probably visited their showroom at 1031 Shore Road in Linwood or at Shoppy.com. You can select and design your own trophy or award and order it right there. Shoppy's also has a complete line of gifts. Remember, you're not presenting the finest trophy unless you're presenting a Shoppy trophy. Phone 609-653-1684 for Shoppy since 1921. You'll like the way they do business at the Thomas H. Heist Insurance Agency. They're coastal insurance specialists with over 35 years experience. Flood, boat, auto, life, health. They offer it all at the Heist Agency with convenient offices in Ocean City, Margate, Egg Harbor Township, Marmora, and Vineland. Phone 609-399-0453. You'll also find them online at heistagency.com. Remember Thomas H. Heist when you need insurance. St. Joe to kick off from their own 25.
It took 1 minute and 2 seconds to score that touchdown, Tom.
about 5 plays. It's a short kick. Ocean City bobbles it but covers it at the St. Joe 49-yard line. So they're going to have good field position, are the Raiders, as they try to get on the board.
Well, if they have an Achilles heel, they don't kick very well. I mean, they can't be onside trying to onside kick every time, and that's just a low line drive. That thing didn't get more than waist high.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Raiders trail here 32-0. If St. Joe scores again, it'll become a running clock unless the Raiders score as well. Feifel, slot to the right. Hands the ball off. Bergman breaks free. Bergman at the 40. Foot race. Bergman at the 20. He's at the 10, and he's in for the touchdown.
Well, I'll give the home fans something to cheer about. They get good field position to start. Of course, you break the line of scrimmage like that and outrun the secondary as he did. That could be 60, 70, 80 yards. It wouldn't matter where it started from. But as we said, it gives a home fan something to cheer about here at 32-6 or 7, depending.
Keith Larkin on to kick the extra point. He's one of the Cape Atlantic League leaders, second, in fact, in the league in extra points. The kick is up. It's high enough. It's good. Let's see what they decide.
I think I would take it at the 35 if I was them. That's. You think they would like to have Larkin on their team going into the playoffs?
You know, it's funny you say that, but Vineland has a decent kicker. He actually kicks off left-footed and kicks extra points right-footed.
Really?
Yeah. He says he's more accurate with the right foot and kick further with the left. But anyway, they have a decent kicker. Millville doesn't have a decent kicker. Holy Spirit hardly even punts. Their kicking game is so questionable. And you wonder if this is going to hurt these teams in the postseason. Townsell with the ball. Bounces to the right side, maybe a yard or two, and driven back.
Yeah, you would think, we talk a lot about recruiting. You would think that the parochial schools ought to be able to find a kid somewhere who can kick. I'm sure they do have kids who can kick, but, I mean, I'm thinking you ought to be able to find a kid who's a premier kicker.
2nd and 9. Here comes Byers. Byers shoots across the 45, spins out of a tackle at the 50. It's a foot race, and he is pulling away. There's a flag on the play.
Yeah, it's coming back.
You can see the quickness there. Jada Byers, not only the moves, but once he got into the open, nobody was going to catch him.
Yeah, blocking the back against St. Joe. I'm sure that's what it's going to be. Happened right down here by the 50-yard line. Helped to spring him. I'm not sure that the Raiders would have made the tackle anyway. Hard to say, but they're going to benefit from bringing that play back. Man, that kid is quick. I don't know, and we keep talking to him, a sophomore.
Yeah, and the leading rusher in the Cape Atlantic League at Holy Spirit is the sophomore too. He's Elijah Gray. He scored 17 touchdowns. He's got about 1,300 yards in 8 games. So he's pretty much their running back. They have another guy they give the ball to, and their quarterback, Josh Samat, runs with it. So it comes all the way back. It'll be 2nd and 5 after the penalty. Here goes Johnson trying to go outside. He cuts it back. He's got the first down at the 45 and brings it out to about the 48-yard line. It's a good number 3 back to have.
Tom, I missed the mainland game here, but this is the best visiting crowd I think I've seen of all the schools that came in here. And when you consider there are no band people over there, there are a lot of fans in those stands across the way in that center section.
Mainland about the same. It was a good crowd. Big student section.
Right.
For the mainland game. I think they were all in white, as I recall.
Well, they may have more students at mainland who would come to the game than St. Joe has students who don't play on a football team.
Or students, period. The Ocean City player down on the field. Kathy Kickish is out there. Shore True Value Hardware in Summers Point hopes that you'll continue to shop locally. They offer friendly service and expert advice. At Shore Hardware, they'll do anything to help. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. till 7 p.m., Saturdays until 6, and Sundays from 8 until 4. Help is just around the corner at Shore True Value Hardware, 515 New Road in Summers Point. Phone 609-927-6464 or visit them online at shorehardware.com. So he's up on his feet. Looks like it's Tom Meehan. It's warm, humid. Might get some cramps, and that might have been what it was.
Yep.
Don't usually get them in November. Donovan hands it off. Driving up the middle. Townsell across the 50 to the 45 of Ocean City for about 6 yards.
Yeah, you would think they'll just want to use the clock as much as possible here now. I mean, 32-7 is fairly comfortable. 9.5 minutes left here in the third quarter. And at some point, they'll want to rest some of these guys, you'd think.
3rd and 4. And Byers spins out of one tackle, but he's wrestled to the ground. James Rice, short of the first down, looks to be about 3rd and 1.
He's got that spin move down pretty well. Rice wasn't having any part, whatever it's going to be here.
Townsell tries to bounce it to the outside, and he's driven down and out of bounds at around the 3 or 4 yard line. Again, Ocean City continues to make that good defensive pursuit. It's just there are times when the hole is so attractive to that running back, there's not much they can do about it. But in that case, they chased him and brought him down for only a 1 yard gain. 2nd and goal at the 4. Again, boys soccer won today on this field. Ocean City boys soccer 5-0. They'll play next Tuesday in the South Jersey semifinal. Girls soccer had already won. They'll play next Monday in the South Jersey semifinal. And don't forget, tomorrow the Ocean City's undefeated cross-country teams will compete at Delsea in the South Jersey Group 3 meet. So lots of good things going on this fall. Townsell reverses, goes into the center of the line. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, battles, and they let him battle. There was no whistle. And finally, he's blown dead, but he really only got to about the 3. Looked like he had penetrated further than that. So it's going to be 3rd and goal.
You know, and this takes you back to the beginning of the game when Ocean City, you know, had a good defensive stand and kept them out of the end zone on downs, and then turned the ball over on a pick 6 on the next series to start the scoring for St. Joe.
Donovan under center, gives it off the left side to the goal line. No signals.
They're going to get one more
shot. To the 1 yard line.
Yep.
4th and goal. Raiders making them work for it.
Cedar Creek has scored again, Tom. They now lead Oakcrest 28-2.
Donovan brings the play in from the sideline. 4th and goal at the 1. I got to think it's going to Townsell. It does. Off the left side, touchdown. His 3rd of the game.
Tough to stop there.
So it's 38-7. 5:44 left in the 3rd quarter. And we'll see what they do. Looks like they're going for 2 again. They tried to kick the first one. It was blocked. They ran for 2, then passed for 2, both unsuccessful. Passed for a 2-point conversion, and then failed again on a run. And they're going to try one here. And they get it to Byers, and he goes into the end zone. I think it was Byers on a sweep. Nope, it was Johnson. It was Nate Johnson, who actually caught the 2-point conversion earlier, who runs it in for St. Joe's.
If they had had some earlier success with their extra points, they'd have that 35-point margin at this point.
40-7. A 33-point lead with 5:44 left in the third quarter. Ocean City will get the football. Since 1981, the Trofa and Coggins families have offered the best in car care at Car Caress, 1635 Haven Avenue in Ocean City. There's also Car Caress 2 at 100 Stagecoach Road in Marmora behind ShopRite. At Car Caress, they'll hand wash your vehicle, both the interior and exterior, and at both Car Caress locations on November 11th, that's a week from tomorrow, they'll wash your car free of charge if you're a military veteran or currently active in the military. Visit Car Caress or Car Caress 2 between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. on November 11th if you have a military ID, and get your car washed free of charge. St. Joe to kick off. They're on top here, 40-7. St. Augustine still leads Vineland. It's amazing you could shut out a Vineland team. I can understand maybe you could beat them, but with those two weapons, they have two weapons very much like the two we're seeing here. Here's a ground ball taken inside the 30, straight up the left sideline, across the 35 to about the 38-yard line.
How about this, Tom? Our friend Steve Parker tells us Oakcrest returned to kickoff 99.5 yards after the latest Cedar Creek touchdown. It's now 28-8.
Wow.
Trying to find out who that was.
Made a tremendous dive for the ball. It went through the hands of the intended receiver and popped downfield. And Johnson almost made the interception at the 40-yard line.
I got to believe they'll kick this punt away from Byers.
Lashley takes the snap, a little bit of a rush, gets the kick away, a nice kick. It hits at the 35, bounces to the 29, and rolls maybe to the 28. Byers was right there, but he plays awful deep.
Yeah, I guess he wants to, run up and catch the ball on the run, but, if the ball's high enough at that point, it's not going to be returnable because there's enough coverage.
Well, he's returned 3 for touchdowns. We'll leave a judgment up to him.
I'm sure. If he does get his hands on the ball, you know where it's gone. Cedar Creek has scored again, Tom. It's 35-8.
They've completed 3 quarters now. St. Augustine 14, Vineland nothing. Donovan checking things out, and he's going to, I think, call a timeout. Oh no, there's a penalty. 5-yard penalty against St. Joe.
Illegal substitution.
So it'll be 1st and 15 for the Wildcats back at their 23-yard line.
Still there's a long third quarter.
It is. There's only been 2 touchdowns, but
seems to be taking forever.
Some incomplete passes as well.
If they score again to St. Joe, then be a running clock.
Nazim Derry returned a kick 95 yards for a touchdown. That's how Atlantic City tied that game with Millville at 6-6. Here goes Townsell up the middle. Takes on a defender and drives through. Brings it out to about the 30.
And they don't have a kicker either, does Atlantic City?
No, they have a guy that kicks, but they go for 2s a lot as well. I mean, Absegami has a terrific kicker. St. Augustine has a terrific kicker. The Cedar Creek kicker has been pretty good this year. Ocean City's kicker has been one of the best. He doesn't try to field goal, but in extra points, he's second in the league. But a lot of them don't have kickers. Here goes Johnson. Cuts it back up the middle. Spins through a tackle. He's out to about the 32. It'll be 3rd and about 6.
I wish I could go back and count the number of times you've described the play by saying spins through a tackle.
Yeah.
Because they really, Johnson and especially Byers, I won't say it's a trademark, haven't seen him enough, but they certainly have that down to a science, to a degree.
So it's 3rd and 5. Ball out almost to the 32-yard line. Donovan back to throw on a play-action pass. Oh, good defense for Ocean City. Really good job. It was Meehan, I believe. Anyway, that ball was on target, and he was short of the receiver, and he jumped up and tipped it away at the last minute. So it's a punting situation for St. Joe's.
Haven't seen this very often either.
Mainland has scored. They trail Absegami now 20-13, and Atlantic City is inside the Millville 10.
Boy, that'd be an upset.
And another bad piece of news for Vineland, Isaiah Pacheco has come out of the game with cramps, and they don't know if he's coming back. He's one of the great players and going to Rutgers. Here's a kick. Lashley, fair catch, drops it, picks it up, and he's got to stop. He can't try to run.
And you got to be careful. You almost borderline get a flag there for trying to run. I guess he forgot, even though the ball hit the ground, he certainly can't advance it.
Or maybe he thinks you can.
Maybe.
That would be understandable. It's kind of an obscure rule. Ball's on the 34. Ocean City will start. 3:12 left in the third quarter. They trail 40-7. Pleasantville has scored. Mohamed Torre. And they lead Middle Township 6-0. Late in the third quarter, Torre had run 55 yards to set it up. Off the left side and out across the 35 to the 36 or 37 yard line. Ocean City picks up about 3. Some people seem to be on edge when they unpile in this game every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean,
Bergman replaces Robertson here.
A lot of build-up coming.
Now trailing Abuna 27-18. Ray, of course, we saw last Saturday, the quarterback who does a little bit of everything. He punts, he plays defense. Ball's on the 40. St. Joe on top here, 40-7 with 1:49 to play in the third quarter.
So two teams that scored a touchdown each in 1 minute and 14 seconds to start this quarter have exchanged punts.
Donovan hands it off, trying to get to the outside, and there's nothing there for Byers. Excuse me.
And good pursuit from the back as well, Tom, that time. And, you know, when Byers gets beyond two would-be tacklers in his own backfield, they actually come back to help make the stop there after a couple yard or maybe a yard gain. So, again, that's good pursuit by your defense.
2nd and 9. Donovan, quick pass out in the flat to Martinez. And Martinez down the right sideline has the first down. He's knocked out of bounds inside the 40. Defender fell down, and he wasn't able to get up in time. Martinez was past him, so it's a first down at the 40. 18th first down unofficially for St. Joe. They've completed 3 quarters now, and Pleasantville leads Middle Township 6-0. Pretty sure that Pleasantville will get in with a win. Bridgeton has scored. They lead Egg Harbor Township 8-0. Here's a snap. Flat pass to St. Joe's as Martinez almost refuses to go down, but finally they blow the whistle and he's driven back.
They try to strip the ball there to no avail. He did a good job holding on to it. A lot of screaming going on upstairs.
Absegami 27, Mainland 13 in that important game for Absegami. Shotgun, handoff to Townsell. Hole on the right side, shoots up the middle, inside the 30 to about the 29 for a first down. Make it the 28-yard line.
Lashley in on the stop. Moving the football again. We got 22 seconds. May get one more playoff here before the quarter is over. May not.
St. Joe plays at home next Saturday in the first round of the playoffs. Townsell gets the ball. He spins out of a tackle in the backfield, races to the sideline, gets to the sideline, picks up about 7. There's a flag on the play. Ocean City player down.
Yeah, that you tend to think that's going to go against St. Joe. You see the Ocean City player down over on the far side of the field. He's just getting up. Usually that means some kind of block in the back.
Brandon Lashley was the player who was shaken up. And it is against St. Joe.
Block in the back is correct. That's going to be the last play of the third quarter, Tom.
40-7. St. Joe leading by 33 points. We don't have the running clock because it has to be 35. And while the clock shows zeros, they haven't indicated the end of the quarter yet. I guess they're going to step off the penalty first and then make that little circular signal to show that the quarter's over. Ball's out to the 41-yard line.
Looks like he signaled loss of down.
Don't they know the quarter's over?
You would think. I don't know.
Well, this is strange. Running a play with all zeros. Byers takes the snap off the right side, down to the 30, down to the 20, down the sideline, near the goal line, in for the touchdown. An untimed down.
Unless they're keeping the time on the field and said the clock hadn't stopped soon enough when they
normally put it up. They normally tell them what to put up. So that's really weird. An untimed down, and Byers goes 41 yards with a direct snap for a touchdown. So now, with the clock not running on that play, it'll be running constantly unless Ocean City scores again. It's 46-7. And they're going.
Change of possession won't stop the clock.
Correct. Though I did notice that they do seem to stop it when they have to move the chains, which is kind of weird. Here comes the kickoff. It's a hard ground ball. Taking it to 31-yard line, across the 35, down the right sideline, out close to the 40-yard line. Just couldn't get any forward movement, but picked up some good yardage.
I'll tell you, Tom, that Atlantic City-Millville game would be the biggest surprise for me today if the Vikings end up finding a way to win that game. 6-6 at last report. Nothing else has really been a surprise.
Well, I don't think St. Augustine was picked to beat Vineland. Though, it certainly was expected to be a competitive game, and it's not over.
Right.
Feifel waits the snap. Takes it, hands it off. Into the line, bouncing off a tackle, trying to get some running room. He's got the first down. What a terrific run. Through another tackle, down inside the 40 to about the 36 or 37-yard line. Liam Bergman, who showed his speed on his 49-yard touchdown run, showed his strength and power on that run as he got it down to the 37-yard line of St. Joe's.
That's his second big run here of the half.
He gets it again. Straight up the middle, upended as he gets to the 30 with the last guy, as there was a big hole there, and he shot right through it. About a yard short of the first down. 2nd and 1. They'll take him out for a rest. Robertson checks in. Feifel hands to Robertson. Hits the center of the line. Gets the first down inside the 25-yard line. All three of those guys, Feifel, Robertson, and Bergman, are among the top 50 in Ocean City history in career rushing. Now the whistles are blowing because of is there a timeout?
Yeah, St. Joe.
St. Joe calls timeout. 10:02. And St. Joe uses a timeout. Atlantic Care Urgent Care Centers are located throughout South Jersey, staffed with board-certified providers, registered nurses, and X-ray technologists. They provide care for non-life-threatening emergencies and illnesses 7 days a week, including holidays, without an appointment or long wait times. X-ray and lab services are right on site. If the unexpected happens, it's the urgent care you know you can trust. For a complete list of hours and locations, visit atlanticcare.org/urgent. Want to get some tickets to Gillian's Wonderland Pier, half price? Starting today, go to Gillians.com. They're already selling them at a bonus for next year, and of course, they're great Christmas gifts. Rides aren't open now, but this is a good time to get those bargains and save your tickets if you had some left over. They're good next year. Gillian's Wonderland Pier, 6th and the Boardwalk in Ocean City. Visit them online at Gillians.com and at Staten's Gallery on Asbury Avenue. It's downtown Gillian's.
I never seem to have enough, even if I buy $100 worth for my grandkids.
Well, you get $100 worth for $50 today.
Yeah.
Feifel shifts the back to the left side, gives him the ball. Up the middle, nothing there.
My point is, if I buy $100 worth,
you need
today,
200.
I need 200. 4 grandkids all summer long doesn't go that far.
And you'd think for a former employee, they'd give you a break.
Well, geez, how many years ago was that? Maybe I'd have to ask Walt Tucker.
Mainland scored again. It's 27-20. Absegami leading Mainland. You know, you want to be part of the mix. Mainland's not part of the mix as far as qualifying for the playoffs, but, you know, this is a way for them to be part of it and keep somebody out of the playoffs. And they're battling. There's a player down for Ocean City, so there's a timeout on the field. Trying to check, there's another touchdown by Buna. They now lead 35-18. 5.5 minutes left up there in Vineland.
Still 14-0.
14-0 St. Augustine. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what all the other results are tonight, maybe even tomorrow, to find out if Vineland can still qualify for the playoffs at 7-1. And also, if Atlantic City can get the lead and beat Millville, can they get in the playoffs? Pleasantville has a 6-0 lead over Middle Township. 2 teams battling for the playoffs. Absegami's ahead by just 1 score. Well, they need to win to be sure. They're playing Maine. It was a St. Joe player that was down, and he's back up on his feet, walking slowly, but on his own. Angelo Greer, a 6'1", 253-pound junior.
He's tired. He is walking gingerly.
Yeah.
But he's walking on his own.
2nd and 9. Ball inside the St. Joe 20.
Running even on change of possession time. I wasn't sure about that, but it is running during change of possession.
Right.
So a lot more competitive games around than this one. Cedar Creek's not a competitive game, as they're beating Oakcrest 35-8, but the rest of them pretty competitive.
Yeah, every game is pretty competitive. Atlantic City had taken a 12-6 lead over Millville, but Clayton Scott has scored on a 13-yard run. Millville leads 14-12 in the final 4 minutes of that game.
So Millville made a 2-point conversion, and the Vikings didn't.
Yeah. And good defense by Ocean City as St. Joe tries to sweep the left side. They've substituted Jaden Schertle, a freshman, in at quarterback. And he handed it off. Loss of a yard, 3rd and 11.
And they just kind of running the clock out here, even though still 7 minutes to go. A pretty insurmountable lead at this point. The Wildcats, who came in here with a pretty lofty reputation, have lived up to it. As we said, it's not like Ocean City has struggled this year. This is one of their much better years.
2nd and 11. Schertle under center. Backs are split behind him. He keeps it, spins to the right. He's got nowhere to go. Loses another yard or 2. See, they just announced that Bob Boone will be inducted into the Phillies Baseball Hall of Fame. Good choice.
Yeah, nice guy too.
Oh yeah, great baseball family.
Oh.
Started a generation before him.
I thought an interesting choice the Phillies made for manager for next year.
I guess
a name that nobody has ever heard of.
Yeah.
Or, wasn't in the mix as far as being a manager. I'm telling you, it's, for old guys like us who are
and there was
baseball people from years ago, it's hard to get used to this analytics so much in baseball of all sports.
Well, it's interesting. Parts of it are interesting. I'm not too concerned with how fast the ball's coming off the bat, but Schertle back to throw, left-hander, throws it long down the left side. There was a collision out there. St. Joe people are screaming, and they may have something to scream about, but it's incomplete.
Well, the defender stopped, and then the offensive player tried to run through him and couldn't. So that's, is that interference? If the defender's, he just stopped about a step or two before the defender got to that point.
Yeah.
But, again, we go back to some of this analytics. I mean, I know 20 years ago, 25 years ago, we were timing kids how fast they could run to second base on a steal and how fast the catcher could get it out of his glove and throw it down there to decide whether to steal or not.
How far a home run goes, how fast a pitch is, but what's the difference how fast it comes off the bat unless it's hit right at the pitcher or something? I don't know.
Well, it gets in the gap quicker maybe. Outfielder can't.
We don't have anything to relate it to.
Right.
Here's the punt. Coming up, 5 minutes left. Good snap. Not much of a rush, a really high punt. Lashley backs up to his 31. One defender right there. He sidesteps him, gets across the 35. He's hit pretty good at the 37. That's probably where they'll spot the football.
Yeah, when I think about analytics, I don't think about that as much as I think about, the percentage, that this guy with a 2-2 count against a curveball pitcher, 93% of the time hits the ball to the right side.
Yeah, that's good.
That kind of stuff. That's just changed the game so much. I mean, nobody ever used to shift infielders around. Gene Mock did it a couple times where he'd bring an outfielder in as a fifth infielder, but now there's so many guys on every team that they put the shift in against. Like I saw McCann the other night in the World Series look like a base hit to over second base, and he gets thrown out from like shallow right field. It was just a great World Series, but that's the kind of thing I'm alluding to. At any rate, enough about baseball, although it was a great World Series.
Timeout here, 4:20 on the clock. Interstate Batteries of Egg Harbor Township. Now Sterling comes into the game. It's 3rd and a yard at the 46. Ocean City on its own 46. Ungst at quarterback. And he didn't like something. I guess he called timeout. So the clock stops with 2:59 left. It's 46-7. St. Joe on the way to a 9-0 perfect regular season. They'll be home in the playoffs next Saturday. Ocean City probably on the road either Friday or Saturday. This game brought to you with the best wishes of everyone at Calvi Electric in Atlantic City, who encourage you to get out and support your favorite high school team every week. You'll like the way they do business at the Thomas H. Heist Insurance Agency. They're coastal insurance specialists with over 35 years experience. Flood, boat, auto, life, health. They offer it all at the Heist Agency with convenient offices in Ocean City, Margate, Egg Harbor Township, Marmora, and Vineland. Phone 609-399-0453. You'll also find them online at heistagency.com. Remember Thomas H. Heist when you need insurance. Here's O'Donohue. He's got the first down out across the 50 into St. Joe territory.
Under 3 minutes remaining here. Cedar Creek has scored again. That one is now 42-8.
Ocean City attacks the center again. Gets down to about the 45-yard line. Donahue kind of a workhorse here. Picks up 3. Second and about 7. They'll call it the 46-yard line. This time Unks keeps it, rolling left. He's hit, he holds on, he spins out of it. He's down to the 40 and close to the first down.
Dan Collins, 5'11", 170-pound senior for St. Joe, makes that stop. Originally pulled away, and then Collins comes back and is able to make the tackle. Running clock does make a difference.
Oh, yeah. O'Donohue up the middle, and he drives inside the 35 for a gain of about 5, down to a minute and a half here. 46-7. St. Joe's improving the 9-0. Ocean City will drop to 6-2. Both will play in the playoffs next weekend. Raiders on the road, St. Joe at home. Unks gets a snap, gives it to O'Donohue. He drives off the left side. He doesn't get the first down. May only be able to get off one more play here. Minute 5. Ocean City players slow getting up. Raiders will be home on Thanksgiving morning against Pleasantville, which right now leads Middle Township 6-0 in the fourth quarter. Unks keeps it, going left. And he's got the first down. He carries a couple of tacklers with him out of bounds. But that out of bounds doesn't stop the clock.
Right. Yeah, no, they get one more play off here under clock moving, just under 30 seconds now.
Ball's at the 27-yard line. 1st and 10. Unks looking to the sideline.